From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Daryl Clark. Stephanie Woodard has the evening off. Our top story: on November 7th, Alaska State Troopers received a report that there was a seriously ill woman at a remote cabin 16 miles south of Manly Hot Springs. After a weather delay, a military helicopter and crew flew to the cabin. The woman and 37-year-old Daniel Selovich of Manly were flown to Fairbanks Memorial Hospital. Troopers say investigation shows that there was much more to the report than the woman being ill.
After she was, rescued or medically evacuated to FMA, then troopers learned 37-year-old Daniel Selovich of Manly Hot Springs had held this woman against her will in this remote cabin for about 5 weeks, and in that time had subjected her to numerous sexual assaults several times. He was arrested on charges of kidnapping and 2 counts of first-degree sexual assault.
In October, UAF Interim Chancellor Mike Powers publicly apologized for failing to address a serious deficiency in how sexual assaults are handled on campus. Today, about 60 law enforcement officers, first responders, UAF residents, life and Title IX staff took part in a sexual assault investigation training seminar on campus. The training centers on emotional effects of trauma experienced by sexual assault victims and gives tools to work with those victims while still gathering the information needed to pursue investigations. The goal is to reverse the trend of underreported sexual assault crimes. Tom Tremblay led the training that will continue tomorrow. Tremblay spent 30 years in law enforcement and is now a national leader in trauma-informed sexual assault investigations.
We're really focusing on trauma-informed approaches to sexual assault, which essentially means really changing the way that we look at these crimes, understanding the impact that trauma has on victims, and designing new approaches based on the science of understanding trauma and developing new approaches for all of us who work with victims.
This is a topic that just isn't discussed, so this is a rare opportunity to have so many people in this field, from the administrative side to the criminal justice side to the advocacy side, in the same room talking about the same problems and struggles that we face.
The company Salix is looking to provide an affordable solution that may be a little different than the other finalists for the Interior Energy Project bid. The firm is only pitching responsibility for one aspect of the supply chain that would bring liquefied natural gas to the area from the Cook Inlet. It would focus purely on liquefaction, which is the process of turning gas into a fluid. Company representatives say their solution is cost-effective and flexible to demand. Salix's parent company, Avista, owns the electrical utility in Juneau and serves more than 330,000 natural gas customers across 3 states. Salix President Bob Lafferty says the biggest challenge the business faces is working with other members of a supply chain when operating only a singular part.
So one of the challenges is to make sure all the parts of the supply chain are integrated and working well together. And we have taken a look at each of the parts, but our proposal here is just for the liquefaction part to create the liquefied natural gas. So we'll be taking natural gas out of a pipeline in the Cook Inlet area, liquefying it, and then preparing it to put in either trucks or rail for container shipment up to the interior Fairbanks area.
And when we come back, this week's installment of Fairbanks Flavor will show you how to prepare salmon marsala. Also, it's time once again for Interiortainment. This week, something for the whole family, as the UAF Department of Veterinary Medicine will open their doors to the public. Stay with us. And welcome back. The North Star Center, 5 miles west of Fairbanks, provides temporary housing, monitoring, and transitional services for 143 minimum security adult males and females. Monty Bowen visited the center and talked with officials and residents about how the system works there.
I did 14 months here. I get out next week. I've used the program with the assistance of Stacy Cross and the rest of the staff here. They've been real good to me. I made it real successful.
That's one of the residents of the North Star Residential Center, located just outside Fairbanks on the Parks Highway. The mission of the North Star Center is to reintegrate the residents back into the Fairbanks community.
Our goal is to make sure that they go through proper programs, cognitive training, and referral out as much as possible to get them help.
They offer several programs.
The residents are referred through the Reentry Coalition, and they just hired a reentry coordinator, and they will be helping us refer a lot of our residents out into the community for different programs, different avenues that can help them and assist them so they can be successful.
The center's gotten a lot of unwanted attention over the last couple of years because of people walking away from custody. It is a minimum security facility.
What we have here is residents at the very minimum level. We're not allowed to apprehend them. We monitor and we report, so we notify DOC, the Department of Corrections, if anyone runs.
When I first got here, I had a completely different outlook.
I come from a family that's very full of enablers and addicts and alcoholics, and my whole core around me involved drinking and using drugs in order to cover up how we felt. So fast forward, I started to break the law.
Join us tomorrow as we sit down and talk with a couple of the residents of the center. This is Bonnie Bowen reporting.
University of Alaska Fairbanks Veterinary Medicine is hosting an open house on Saturday and is inviting everyone to stop in. Sarah Dubowski has more in this report.
UAF Veterinary Medicine program welcomed its first class of students this semester. The university added this program because Alaskans were unable to get a veterinary education without leaving the state. The open house is all ages, and there will be a list of activities to do, including demonstrations of dog CPR, a tour of the new facility, and balloon animals.
Saturday we get to show off our facilities to the public and get to show them all about what vet school is like, what kind of things we're learning. We're going to be doing suturing. We'll also be showing off our tools that we learn with, so the bones for all the skeletons of animals. We have one of the best labs for all the vet schools in the nation.
There will even be a teddy bear surgery demonstration where kids can bring in their own stuffed animals and have them sutured.
So this will be a chance for interested children and potential vet students to see kind of a surgery simulation. We'll have an anesthesia machine set up with a mask that kids can administer anesthesia to this bear, and then the veterinary students will be doing some suturing on this bear.
The open house runs from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. It is free and open to the public. Sarah Dubowski reporting.
That's Interiortainment, brought to you by Midnight Sun Family Medicine.
And it's time once again for Fairbanks Flavor with Lisa Gambardella.
Hello, welcome to Gambardella's Pasta Bella and Fairbanks Flavor. I'm Lisa Gambardella, downtown at Gambardella's Pasta Bella. Today, we're making salmon marsala. I'm gonna start with a hot pan and some oil in there. I'm gonna take my salmon chunks and dredge them in some flour. That's gonna help it pick up some flavor in there. Having the smaller pieces plus the flour also helps, and the flour is gonna help give the sauce a body as well. You can see that starting to sizzle, so you wanna make sure your pan is hot. Okay, this is gonna be great. Then we're gonna add some mushrooms in there. Look at that. You can smell it already, smells delicious. A little bit of garlic, which is optional. Oh, that is gorgeous. We're gonna let that brown. If it gets a little brown color on there, hit it with some marsala wine. Wow. You're gonna love this with a delicious Pinot Noir. See our recipes at webcenter11.com. Come downtown and I'll make it for you. It's on special this week. Beautiful salmon marsala. Don't forget to join us for our pasta fair, Sundays and Monday nights, all you can eat for $13.95.
Brought to you by Gambardella's Pasta Bella.
Joe Cook is up next with sports, and he has previews of the Ice Dogs' upcoming series, and the Alaska basketball teams will be in the spotlight this weekend. All that and more, including state volleyball tournament results, after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here with your local Thursday Sportscast. UAF basketball will be in prime time for the first time this weekend. Both Alaska basketball programs will be hosting GNAC Pac West tournaments on Alaska Airlines Court in the Patty Center. The men's team finished 1-2 in preseason play. They defeated Lincoln Christian University 103-55 on Monday night. Now they will go up against Chaminade and Hawaii Pacific. UAA is up in the Banks. They will play those same teams. The men's games will be at 7:30 on Friday and Saturday night. The Nooks will play HPU on Friday. Senior transfer forward Javante Williams, a Mount Edgecombe product, averaged 13.6 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 3.6 steals in Alaska's 3 preseason games. He feels UAF will need to set the tone on one end of the floor to be successful in this tournament.
I think for the most part we want to establish our defense and let people know that we're going to be defending the rim a lot and just try to play hard and play together.
This is two games, 2 West Region games with Hawaii Pacific and Chaminade, and from the Pac West who kind of dominated the GNAC last year. So it's a great challenge for us. We're excited to be at home, and we're really ultimately trying to just get better each game, and it's nice if you get some wins along the way.
Alaska's women's basketball team is hosting the GNAC Pac West Challenge for their first games of the season. The Nooks will take on Cal State Stanislaus on Friday at 5:15 and Dixie State University at 3 o'clock on Saturday on Alaska Airlines Court. This will be a nice warm-up for a team with top returning players and newcomers who will make a name for themselves in their first year under head coach Cody Bench and new assistant coach Brett Sawyer. After this tournament, the UAF women will head to Hawaii for a trio of games next Wednesday. Other than a Minnesota Wilderness Series, I bet the Fairbanks Ice Dogs had this weekend series circled on their calendar for a while. The Ice Dogs will put their 5-game win streak on the line at home this weekend against the Janesville Jets. Now, the Jets are one of just 2 teams to beat the Ice Dogs all year. Janesville beat Fairbanks 4-3 in overtime and 3-1 in Janesville back on October 9th and 10th. They come in with an 8-6-2 record. Fairbanks, the NAHL's top team at 16-2-1, remembers that series, and they want to ground the Jets once and for all.
We got swept by them 2 games when we were in Janesville, and we're pretty bitter about that. We got a pretty good record right now, and those are our only losses. We got to come out, and we know they're a big, fast team. They got some skill, but we've been working and preparing to beat this team since we got swept by them.
We got to make the most of our opportunities. I think that series was pretty low scoring for us, so we got to do a better job of figuring out ways to manufacture goals.
They love finishing their checks. Their goaltending is good. It's going to be a tough battle for us, and we lost 2 of them down there the last time we played them, so we're looking to get some revenge this weekend.
Down in Anchorage at the state volleyball tournament, one of 2 interior teams won in the first round today. The Monroe Rams avenged last year's 3A finals loss to Mount Edgecombe with a 5-set victory over the Braves. Monroe advances to the winner's bracket, and they will play number 1 overall seed ACS this evening. West Valley suffered their first loss of the year to Wasilla. The Warriors won in 5 sets. The tourney is double elimination, so still good chances for both teams. The Wolfpack dropped to the loser's bracket, and they will face Ketchikan tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Lathrop hosted the Delta Junction Huskies on Wednesday in the only high school hockey game in town. Let's go to the Dipper. This non-conference matchup was relatively close after 2 periods. Lathrop's Colin King put the Mutes up 1-0 with his tap-in goal coming just 1 minute and 7 seconds into the game. This wasn't a rout as a goalie duel formed between Abriel Champagne of Delta and Lathrop's Blake Gutting. Champagne made 40 saves while Gutting countered with 15. However, DeAndre Henderson's 3 assists helped Lathrop score at least 1 goal in the remaining periods, and Lathrop wins 4-1 and improves to 2-3 on the year. The recent snowfall in the past couple of weeks made for prime conditions for the first Wednesday night ski race of the season. 20 avid skiers went to Birch Hill to participate in the first WNR series of the season. Max Kaufman, he won the 5K race opener in 16 minutes, 16 seconds. Peter Delamere was second in 17:09, followed by Tom Harwood. Mark Ross was the first master skier to finish 7th overall. Jane LeBlanc won the first women's race of the year, coming in 8th place with a time of 20 minutes, 33 seconds. And she talked about her experience in the WNR opener.
I think everybody worked really hard. I think for the first race of the season, of course, it's always kind of challenging to see what your fitness level is. Wednesday night races are really fun because they're really low pressure and we got people of all abilities, and I think everybody's just out here to test their fitness. But usually it's a really supportive crowd no matter what, and we definitely enjoy each other's company, so come on out for the next one.
And the next WNR race is December 30th. And that's it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into a Thursday night edition of Fbx Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather. And it was a beautiful day across the interior except for some really cold temperatures. The low this morning in Fairbanks, 17 below, but I'm sure it was much colder in the low-lying areas around the Badger Road area in the Goldstream Valley. We'll talk more weather in just a little bit. Our photograph night sent in by Sharon Stevens. Winter scene along Badger Road. A beautiful shot there, nice colors. And again, as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. And again, a reminder, our Fab Photo Calendar is out free at many locations across the Fairbanks viewing area. And you can just go to our website, webcenter11.com, to the lifestyle section. Check it out, and you'll find exactly where you can find one and pick one up for a stocking stuffer, if nothing else. Numbers today, 5 below for the high. The low last night's, like I said, 17 below. Record high 41 in 1976. Record low 36 below in 1989. Your sunrise and sunset, 6 hours and 38 minutes. And before we go any farther, we have to pass along. There's a Stage 1 alert for the North Pole area and a Stage 3 alert for the Fairbanks area. What's it mean? Well, it means in North Pole, no fuel burning appliances are allowed. Wood stoves, pellet stoves, any kind of burning appliance. You have to keep that in mind. In Fairbanks, the ban is voluntary, and the alerts are until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Keep that in mind. Here's our satellite and radar. One area of low pressure moving across the Gulf, bringing lots of rain to southeast Alaska. The rest of the state looking pretty good. You can see just a few scattered showers across the Cook Inlet, and another system moving across the Bering Straits, and that's about it. As far as our map is concerned, rain is falling around Juneau, 40 degrees there, 43 at Ketchikan. Just foggy and cloudy conditions at Anchorage, Kodiak 34, Cold Bay at cloudy skies and 30. Up and down the west coast, 22 and 21 at Nome and Bethel. 2 degrees below zero at Barrow and 9 above at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, look at the storminess going on. Once again, this storm system here is one that brought just all kinds of havoc to much of the Midwest yesterday. Another storm system moving ashore, bringing lots of rain to the Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, this wind conditions that are with this system over the Great Lakes is causing power outages, travel disruption, large waves in the Great Lakes, and lakeshore flooding. And that's going to slowly wind on down. And as far as the jet stream, it's going to remain well to the north, as you can see, which means warmer temperatures across the Central Plains, more rain over the Pacific Northwest, and maybe some chilly conditions over the Northeast. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. And this week we've been talking with the kids from Ladd Elementary School. But tonight, here's the teacher with an interesting weather fact.
Hello, my name is Miss Minert, and this is my 4th grade class here at Ladd Elementary School. And we have a weather fact to share with you. Class, did you know that there is so much water in the atmosphere that if it fell as rain, it could fill enough buckets to reach from the earth to the sun 57 million times?
And again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather each night. Next week, we'll be visiting with the classes from Nordale Elementary School. Our forecast for tomorrow for Alaska, for the northern sections, cloudy skies at Barrow, a few flurries in the Fort Yukon area, some snow in Nome. Here in the interior, a few flurries off and on for the Fairbanks and Healy areas with periods of light snow at Delta Junction, maybe an inch at the most. Over southeast Alaska, the rains will continue right on from Juneau southward to Ketchikan, while over to the southwest part of the state, we'll be looking at snow showers in Cold Bay, mostly cloudy skies at Bethel, but windy conditions for Kodiak Island. And talk about your winds. Over Valdez, they're looking for winds gusting as high as 50 miles per hour, but sunny skies expected in Anchorage and Homer. And it is a Thursday night, which means it's time for our road conditions, brought to you by Jose Body and Paint and Mongold Insurance. Lynn Dalton Elliott Highway, drifting snow, patchy ice spots, and some snow-packed road. On the Steeson-Richardson Highway, blowing snow at the higher elevations, icy patches, snow on the road. And you see the pattern here, drifting snow and snow on the road for the Parks Highway, icy patches, so it's just downright skiddy. Is there such a word as that? It could be skidding if you're not driving carefully. But anyway, keep that in mind. And that is our road conditions for tonight. Okay, our forecast for tonight, scattered clouds, some patchy fog, and cold temperatures, 11 degrees below zero. Tomorrow's forecast, 2 below for the high. That's the high. And a patchy fog and a few flurries here and there. The extended forecast, temperatures bottoming out on Sunday night and Monday night. As you can see, 23 and 25 below with daytime highs 12 below. That's the high. And the temperatures will slowly warm back up again by Wednesday, believe it or not. And even the long range is looking at warmer temperatures by this time next week. But for right now, we got to tough it out with these cold temperatures. And Joe is toughing it out.
Thank you, Mike. And before we go, we are aware of the technical issues we are having, and we are working to resolve them. Thank you for your patience. From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.
Good night.